If you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I did a lot of self-improvement over the last year or two. I've talked a lot about addiction and mental health issues and trying to make all of that stuff better for myself. And I've been pretty open about a lot of things. I kind of want to talk about basically all the things that I did to try to work on my depression and my mental health and get that stuff in check. And I want to talk about all the things that I feel have helped me with that. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a mental health expert. This is just me talking about the things that I think worked for me, and maybe it might help you out there. This is not advice. Some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about is probably illegal. What I'm saying here is just sharing my experience. I think I wanted to start with the one that I've noticed that has had the biggest impact on me. And I'm going to say that that's sobriety. I stopped drinking alcohol and smoking weed, which were my vices, in July. I have not touched a drop of alcohol. I have not smoked any weed or consumed any cannabis since then. And I think I'm good. I really think that I'm good now. Now, there were things that helped me with sobriety that also helped me with mental health and depression and all that I'm going to talk about later on. But staying sober and deciding to get sober was something that was hugely impactful. And I really think that that helped me immensely in getting my mental health in order. And it's funny because just a couple days ago, we were at a friend's house here while we are visiting in Vegas. This friend of ours is wealthy, or he's well off. He had a very nice selection of scotch and booze, and he didn't know that I was sober and offered me some Johnny Walker Blue, and he also offered me some 1942 and that really fancy tequila that's in like the white and blue like porcelain bottle. And I was like, oh no, man, I'm not drinking. And then that struck up the conversation of like, oh, why not? And I'm pretty honest about it. Like anybody that I meet and anybody that I know, I tell them, well, I'm a piece of shit and I can't help myself. If I have one drink, then that's going to snowball into me drinking every single day or drinking way more than I want to. So just so that that doesn't happen, I decided I'm not going to drink ever again. And the fact that I was able to turn down Johnny Walker Blue or 1942, that really like let me know like I'm good. And that was just a little side note anecdote. I want to say that I do feel that getting sober and staying sober has just done wonders for me. And maybe you don't have addiction like I did, and maybe this part doesn't apply to you, but I know that many of us struggle with addiction, and I know that I've been pretty open about talking about that stuff. And I just want to say that if you are struggling with that stuff, man, just try to get that under control. But that's enough with that. Like I said, I really do think that that's helped me a lot with my mental health and my depression. The next thing I'm going to mention is getting my physical health in check. A lot of people will tell you when you're not working out, when you're kind of being unhealthy, when you're not eating good, when you're being sedentary and just laying around and not getting any exercise, not getting any sunlight, not doing anything that makes you feel good about yourself, you're gonna like feel like shit. And I know for a fact that I feel so much better on days that I work out than on days that I don't. And I feel so much happier, and my mood is just better when I work out. Everybody will tell you when like people try to get sober, they usually like pick up healthy habits. And I will say that working out and getting in shape was something that I did that kind of helped me replace some of those addictions. And that really, really helped me a lot. But continuing to do it now when I don't feel the urge to like want to drink or smoke weed, it keeps me feeling good like on a daily basis. On the days that I skip a workout or the days that I don't work out or go outside and do something physical, I can tell that it impacts the way I feel. And I can tell that if I don't go for a few days, I start to feel terrible. And then the minute I go to the gym and I break a sweat, if I go to jujitsu, whatever, if I go for a run, a brisk walk, anything, like makes me feel better about myself and makes me feel happier and puts me in a better mental state. So I will say that that has helped me out a lot as well. And again, it wasn't just that it makes me feel good, it also helped me stay sober too. Another thing that is going to be a little wacky, I guess, is going to be ice baths. I made a few videos on ice baths. I am one of those people that gets obsessed with something and then it becomes my personality for a while. And I definitely did that with ice baths. Wasn't doing it just because it was fun, because they suck. And I wasn't doing it because it was trendy, although the fact that it was a trend is what put me onto them. And since I started getting into trying to improve myself and I researched some of the benefits of doing that and decided to give that a try, it was introduced to me and I went with it and I did it. But then realizing how much better it made me feel when I did it made me realize that I needed to keep doing them. Now, I haven't been doing ice baths how I was. I still take cold showers, but I'm not plunging because I'm traveling and I don't really have it. But I will say that I think if it wasn't for the ice baths, I would have really had a much harder time getting sober. I got to the point where I was doing daily ice baths, and this just so happens to be the same time that I was deciding to get sober and I was working out. And I noticed how much it helped with that craving of wanting to have a head change, of wanting to drink, of wanting to smoke. And I swear there were times when I jumped in that ice bath just because I felt like I was gonna like have a drink or smoke some weed. And I kid you not, there were moments when I was like, that's fine. I'll have a drink, but I have to get in the ice bath first. And there were times when I wouldn't get in the ice bath because it sucked so much to get in there. And then I just wouldn't drink. Or if it was really bad, but I was just like, all right, well, I got to do this first if I'm going to do that, I would come out of there and then not want it anymore. It's weird. I don't know if it was placebo. I don't know if it has to do with the dopamine levels increase or whatever the science is behind it. I don't know, but it helped me immensely. And I got to say that I really don't think I would have been able to make it without them. As stupid as that sounds, because you're just like, yeah, whatever, dude. It's just cold water. I can't explain it, but it helped a lot. Another thing that has helped me a lot with my mental health and my like depression and dealing with all that stuff is magic mushrooms. Disclaimer, I'm not advocating them. Well, I might be advocating them. I'm not saying that you should go out and do them. Because that's not my place to tell anyone to do that. Besides, they're illegal in a lot of places. I will say that I tried microdosing. I didn't see the benefit in that, but I did a few heroic doses. I did some really, really strong doses. And my last heroic dose was close to like 9 grams or so. And I went on a few journeys. And in total, I did about 5 heroic doses over the course of like 4.5 months or so. And I spread them out because I didn't want to feel like I was doing them for fun. I never went into the heroic dose experience with the idea of trying to have a good time. I really went in with the mindset of this is going to be therapeutic for me. I'm going to try to sit there in a dark room in silence and meditate. A few times I used music, psychedelic music that helps you through a heroic journey. That stuff opened up some deep, deep, deep shit. And I worked through a lot of things that I had forgot about. And I worked through a lot of stuff that I felt was swept under the rug for years. And I focused on really trying to go into every journey with something that I wanted to accomplish from the journey. Every heroic dose I took was almost one step closer to fixing a lot of that stuff. And like I said, like this isn't for everyone. And I know that there or people who have clinical depression who can't get out of bed. And like, I'm not saying like this works for everyone. And maybe I wasn't depressed to the level of as some people are. And maybe this stuff worked for me because I was just at, the right level of needing this to be my solution. But I want to say that I really think that the heroic doses, along with all the other stuff, like have just helped me so much. And they also made me realize like a lot of stuff that I wanted from life, and a lot of things that would worry me, that I felt like were weighing me down or constantly on my mind. I tried to record some of it, and I was just like, I'm not making a video on this, because it got really personal, and I turned the camera on and it felt stupid to record the video because I wasn't doing it to make a video. But I want to talk about it now because it was super helpful. And I really think that it helped me a ton with my mental health and my depression. And the last thing is kind of silly, but I will say that when you're living a life that you're not necessarily happy living, when you're doing stuff that isn't what you really want to be doing, I think that plays a lot into the way you feel. And I got to say that, anybody who's been watching my content has already knows that like I got sick of my job and I'm leaving to go travel with my family, and I'm like doing all this crazy stuff. And it seems crazy from the outside. It's a little crazy from the inside too. But I got to say, I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. I wasn't satisfied with my day-to-day life. I felt that I wasn't living up to my full potential. And I felt that I really needed to change. And I realized that doing what I was doing every day was actually causing a lot of my mental health issues. And once I started to eliminate things that were masking the way I felt, and then once I started making myself feel better naturally by working out, eating better, and doing ice baths and natural dopamine increases and getting more sun and doing all that stuff. And then once I took a deep dive into my brain with mushrooms and tried to work out all those problems and really, figure that stuff out, that gave me clarity to realize that I wasn't really happy doing what I was doing, and eliminating the things that were making me complacent, and then making myself feel better naturally, and then doing some real soul searching. I realized that I needed to do what I felt I wanted to do in order for myself to feel happy and go after the things I want to go after and live the life I want to live, and do the things I want to do, which is stuff I talk about all the time now, getting repetitive and stupid that I just talk about it all the time. And I can imagine from a viewer standpoint, you guys are probably like, dude, shut up already. But like, it's just me talking about my life and how I feel right now and why I'm doing this stuff. But all of this combined has got me to this point now. And I feel great, super happy not working and being able to like focus on doing what I want to do. And now going on like this big adventure after becoming sober, after getting in good shape, after doing a bunch of mushrooms. I feel like I'm on the right track to living the life I want to live. And I think that many of us are depressed because we live lives that we don't want to live, and we accept the lives that we have as the lives we have to live. And then we end up using substances to make us feel better. And then we end up trying to fill the void with material things or the occasional fun times. And it's not enough, because we have to go back to that life that we don't like living. And I was in there, and now being out of that for the last like month and a half, 2 months now, I feel better than I've ever felt. Like I really, really do. And I think that all has to do with everything, right? Like it's all connected somehow. And I really think that that's how I have been able to, and I am still working on, obviously, because this is something that I will work on forever. But that's what I think has really helped me with my depression and my mental health and my anxiety and like all that stuff that was really, really, really taking a toll on me 6-7 months ago, before I decided to go on this big self-improvement journey and have like really turned my life around. You may not see it on the other side of the camera because, I'm just a guy talking on the camera, but the way that I was feeling is a day and night difference now. And I feel just so much better. and I feel like I know what it is I want from life, and I feel like I'm ready to take on the world. And I didn't feel that way 7 months ago or so. I felt sad and depressed and shitty all the time. And it may not have reflected too much in the videos, but I know it was leaking over because there was a lot of depressing content, as people were saying in the comments and stuff. So I just want to talk about how I've been working on that, and hopefully sharing this will help some other guys out there who might be going through the same, because I know that many of us suffer in silence. We're dudes. We got to be men. We got to bottle this shit up and then die of a heart attack when we're 50. And I'm not trying to do that. So I want to share this stuff because I think more of us need to talk about this so that we can just live happier lives and not be miserable and suffer. All right. With all that said, I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.